Okay, we're going to do about a number of different value scales. So for your painting, you want to do value scales because they help you, just like with drawing, when you do value scales, they help you be able to figure out what scales or what scales, how do you like that? What color range you would include in your paintings. So we're going to do kind of in similar way that you would have done maybe with your drawing. And this is a good way to test on your paintings if you've actually covered that full value. Now we're going to do the primary colors first, and then go forth with the secondary colors. So I'm doing 7-inch long rectangles. So these are 7 inches long, and then this will be for red, blue, and what's the other primary color? Yes, you have it, yellow. All right. Okay. So once we've done that, then you're good to set up your next step. So we're going to create the rectangles for each one. And so you got it. They're about an inch, about an inch. Now, when you're on one side of the value scales with acrylic paint, it's going to be a tint. Then we're going to eventually get to a shade. We're gonna add a little bit of black, just a little. So you go from a tint, make sure you write that down, to a shade. So make sure you write this down as you do it because it's helpful to remind you. So when we start with the color itself, so a color itself is hue. That's what it, another word for color, that's the hue. But when we add white plus the hue, that's when we get the tint. We also get, when we add black plus the hue, it equals a shade. And we're also going to do, which you'll also need to practice, if you add gray plus the hue equals a tone. All right, equals a tone. So here we go. Now you don't need too much paint to, I'm gonna do this quickly so you can easily do this. It's not that hard. And make sure everything's super straight. If you're wanting to make sure, you can use your ruler and just go down like that. So basically about the middle should be the hue. About the middle will be the hue. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that there. So that means we'll get from the tint of blue to actual color blue and then the shade of blue. And then we're gonna do the tones. All right. When you're working with the paint brushes, hold them more like a pencil. You have a better grasp. I know you may have seen this before, and it's fine, but usually if you're just trying to get a little bit of little points in the air in a painting, you can use that. But this is the best way when you're trying to be really careful and you're trying to be neat and have good craftsmanship. Make sure that you also have paper towel, a couple of actually paper towels with you, and then your water cup, and then your paint. Now you can either put your paint on a plate, styrofoam plate, or I also like these, the egg cartons, because they tend to last. You see, we still have blue. It'll keep it protected, basically. Okay, and then you can reuse it. You know, because the rest of them, acrylic dries very quickly, so it will. It also gets on your clothes pretty easily. It doesn't come out, so be very careful. Be very careful. So I already have blue, so I'm gonna add a little bit of red. When you're opening these kind of containers, open them away from you, and away from others, actually. Because then, and you don't need a lot. Squirt only a little bit, Even if you have a big canvas and you think, oh, I'm gonna need tons, work a little bit at a time. Because you don't know when something may happen. You may have to take a break. You may have to, you may have to run to the restroom. You never know. And then you may not be able to come back to your painting, and then you've had all this paint and it's going to waste. So you don't want to waste. It's not good to waste any type of materials. You don't want to waste money. You don't want to waste materials. And materials are money. All right, so I'm going to start with my blue. Your goal is not to get it all the way up here. Now, if you do get it on here a little bit, okay, it's fine. But your goal is not to have it all the way up here. When you finish painting, when it's time for you to clean up, make sure that you are taking the time and cleaning up properly. You clean up behind yourself. All right, so here is blue. I'm going with the hue first because I know this is where I'll be heading to. And you can get a good amount. You can also add a little bit if the acrylic seems to be a little bit not as, doesn't have a lot of movement or flow to it. Add a little bit of water, it's fine. Because you can also do this while you're painting. All right, so I have my blue down, and now I'm going to actually mix the other colors. Like my white, I have a little bit of white, but I need to put some more white. I'm gonna mix my other colors. Oop, there we go. Getting my white out. This is not White Out, the brand, but this is acrylic paint. All right. Now, as you're going, of course, you can use your sketchbook to test your colors. It's always good to use your sketchbook to test before you do your value scale. But again, the value scale is helpful in that I'm going over here. And actually, the blue left on my paintbrush is enough for a good tint, that first tint. So I'm going to mix it. You can mix it on your paper here, on your sketchbook is what you would do. And put it here. That's a nice blue tint. All right, then I have that blue there. So what I can do is wash my paintbrush out a little bit. Add a little bit more blue to it. I'm gonna test this color. That's a little bit too big of a jump, so I'm gonna put that, it's better right here. I'm gonna put that there. And then I'm gonna go back and add some more white in that one. I'm going to wash my paintbrush again. I'm washing it again because I don't want it to be completely blue. Yeah, that's good. Like that one. And you can get even more technical, I guess you would call it, with your values. I mean, your values can be even more of a range, like step by step by step. And you could have like 8 of them, but we're not gonna quite go that far. All right, now I'm gonna go and get my blue. Again, adding a tinge of black. I'm gonna mix it right here. You don't need a lot because that's pretty dark. Wash it out again. Add a little bit of black. As you can see, that basically that makes it midnight. That's almost, probably about here. Alrighty. Yeah, so then I don't want quite that much. So, but I can use what I already have here and just add a little bit more black so I can get even darker. Like if you heard of midnight blue, that's what it looks like I'm going for here. Essentially, when you add black to a color, it will try to get as close as possible to that other color, because you will be doing the same thing when you paint. You won't see a line between things. All right, now I gotta get that middle color. So, add some blue back here and add just a tinge of black. It's hard to get just a little bit of black. It's hard, that's why it's not good to use a whole lot. But black goes a long way when it comes to painting. It goes an extremely long way. Let's see. Yeah, if that'll work. That looks like that's still got quite a bit of black. I'm gonna add some on the edge here, so I'm not getting a lot. Just a little of that black that I mixed, because I want it to be just a shade darker than the hue. And I think I've got it. Now I go a little bit outside that line. Just use my finger to get it. Yeah, sometimes that'll happen, you know. Don't worry about it if it's a little bit out there. But you do want it as close as possible to your other color, because you want them to just flow, just like on your painting. They'll just flow. All right. I'm clearing up my brush as much as possible. You may need to change water as well during this process. Don't be afraid to change water. I'm going back over these edges because I want them to be as close as possible. Okay, so here we go, headed to red. All right, and oopsie. Got a little oopsie, but I'm gonna cover that with my next color, so it's no problem. All right, here we go. Gonna get that red tint going. off to the side. This will be, think about this side will be your sketchbook. I like that tint, but I think that's more like for that point. I need to add some more white to get it to that first level, just like we did for the blue. All right. Now I'm going to add some more white so I can get that light color. Boom, I got it. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, but I went outside that line. And you may too, so it's okay. Do your best. Main focus. Oh, and look at that. I dropped a little bit of my blue. That's why it's really important to make sure you got that cleared out. It looks like it happened when I was doing the blue, but it's just important. Sometimes it's good for you to see my process or how it's going, because some of these things could happen to you. Just be careful. All right, so now we're gonna go for this next one. And you wanna wipe on the side of your, don't bang. That's a good way to spray the side of your water cup, that is. And you don't want to cause the paint to actually go onto your classmates or the wall or your house, wherever. I think that's a good next step. Okay. Then now here we go with the shades. Here we go with the shades. All right. And this is sliding over, so we're not worried about that because it's not as big of a problem. All right, I've got a little bit of red over here, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of black, not much. You see, that's not much. And take some of this over on here and add. Now you see how that's blotchy? That's because it's not mixed. So you wanna make sure that you mix it. So I want you to see that so you can make sure that it's mixed. Don't get too much. Remember, I'm gonna mix some here. Now, looks like I mixed that. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that looks the same as this one, so good. All right. Add a little bit more black to this. So you'll probably say, oh, that looks like burgundy or something. So yeah, that's basically what they call burgundy is actually a shade of red. What they call pink is basically a shade of red. So now you're getting the breakdown. All right, one more to go, then we're headed to yellow. I'm adding more black to here. I'm gonna get a little bit more red, but I just need more black to where it's gonna be truly dark. Let's see, do we make it really dark? I think I need a little bit more black to really get it. Alrighty. Almost there. Pushing through, pushing through. Here we go, yellow. Now this is, I know you probably are saying, oh, this is so tedious. This is so tedious. Why do we need to know all the parts of a color? Because you'll need to know all the parts of a color to make a great painting. So you'll know what goes where. And I'm sure you're saying, yeah, but I already know what goes where. I just will mix it as I go. No, you don't want to. You can mix as you go, but you need to know where you're going. Where you're going. You want to know where you're going. All right, so getting a little bit of that white. I'm going to mix it over here. Now that's a good change, but that's more like in this range. Here's the next one. And I'm going to add some more white. Need some more. And there you go. Again, we're getting ready to do the shape.